everybody, Eleanor and Jazz here from Nesta Invest, and you are watching Hot Property Q&A. Questions asked by you, answered by us, so you can gain more knowledge and insight into the property world and beyond. So this week we have a question that's a little bit controversial. Do you go big or go small? Do you buy a property in a bigger city or save a bit of money and potentially buy a property in a smaller city? What's going to be the best return on your investment? Now, Jazz, you've had experience, you've buy and held, you've done property trading, you've done everything over the last 10, 12 years. With your investor hat point of view on, where would you invest? Would you go bigger city or smaller city?
So my preference has been Auckland. I've tried Hamilton, Palmerston North and Taupo, and the preference has always been come back to Auckland. Invest what you know, where you live. So that's been me going for capital gain. So from the start, I had a good cash flow income from my job, so my situation suited a capital gains. So I guess chased capital gains.
So when you talk about capital gains, you're saying you might purchase a property and you're going to hold that for 5 or 10 years and see that gain in value, and that's where you're thinking of. That's where your investment comes from, right?
Yeah, that's right. So for example, I'll give you an example. When we bought the property in Palmerston North, over a same period of time, Palmerston North went up 20%. So a $300,000 house went up to $360,000. For example, Auckland went from $300,000 to $600,000 in the same period. So for me, it suited putting in X amount of capital and getting a better return.
So paying a bit more at the time, but then, like you said, potentially doubling your income in 5 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
5 or 10 years, yeah. And so that's great for a big city. But what about, a smaller town? Are there any benefits? So what if, you for some reason, personal reasons, you need to invest in a smaller town? Are there benefits around that?
Yeah, 100%. So one thing would be just rental income. So in the smaller towns, the rental income generally covers the loan and expenses, and generally you get a bit left over. So it's good for cash flow. So it depends on a personal preference. If you've got the capital and your cash flow is low, you can buy a couple of properties in a smaller city and get a bit of cash flow going on. So it just really depends on what your preference is. Mine would be stick to capital.
So with the cash flow thing, we're saying, say for example, you get extra $100 per week. How does that stack up?
So let's put some numbers down. So in a small city, okay, you get $100 extra every week from your income. Over a period of, say 10 years, it's still going to be $52,000. And looking at a property from a capital gains point of view, if you buy something for $400,000 or $500,000, not that if you can buy anything in Auckland for $500,000, just for numbers' sake, in 10 years' time, it might be $750,000 or it might be $1 million. So it just depends where the numbers sit. But you'll notice capital gain is a long-term, long-term game. And yeah, you'll get a better return overall. Again, depends on your cash flow situation. If you've got a great job that pays well, then I'd say just go for it. Just go for the capital.
The capital gains. If you know that you can afford to spend a bit more on that house because you're not relying on a weekly cash flow.
Yeah. And everyone's got their own advice. There'll be a lot of people going, hey, cash flow is king versus capital, it's never guaranteed, but it's worked for us and it's been great.
And I think, again, it goes back to what's your goals? Are you willing to wait 10 years? Or, do you want a bit more, 5 years, you want a bit more cash in your pocket every week? What is your goal? Do you want to have one property or do you want to grow a portfolio over time?
Yeah.
So it's good to really go back to your goals and, talk about it, whether it's yourself or you're buying with a partner. What are your goals together? And then again, what do your finances allow? You could always start in a smaller town, and then when you have enough, perhaps rental income, if you're saving that to one side, then, slowly think about how you can get that into a bigger city to get that bigger capital gain in the long term.
Yeah, there's lots of strategies around. There's no one size fits all. It depends on what your financial situation is, what your job situation is, what your how much risk you can take. So lots of different factors come into it. And you need to sit down first, work out what you guys want in the long term, and then work through the short term. But again, start somewhere.
Start somewhere, start anywhere. So you've heard it from Jazz. His ideal goal is capital. So he's saying capital gains in a bigger city, that's what you're going to get. So I hope that was helpful and that answered your question. If you have any, thoughts on this or feedback, we would love to hear from you. If you have any new questions now that have sparked in your mind, we'd love to hear those too so we can answer them. You can touch base with us. We're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, we're on YouTube, and of course on our website at nestainvest.com. So I really hope that was helpful, and it's something that you can think about now when you're starting to look into your investment property future. Cool. So we will see you again next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.